much for that wonderful intro, JP, and to our so far 41 41 and growing live attendees. Good evening again. As mentioned by JP, maraming salamat for joining us for joining First Metro and First Metro First Metro Asset Management's collab webinar for tonight. So without further ado, please allow me to share my presentation screen. JP, would you be able to give me presenter rights? Hold on.
You go, sir.
There you go. Again, seeking confirmation, JP, if you guys are seeing my presentation screen.
Yes, sir. We do, sir.
Again, yeah. So thank you. Good evening to our viewers and welcome to this joint webinar brought to you, made possible by First Metro Asset Management and First Metro Sec. The intention really is to highlight hassle-free, what else? Budget-friendly, and most importantly, especially at this day and age, a safe and convenient shortcut, or as we millennials call it, hack. A safe and convenient hack for people, for Filipinos at that, to invest in the Philippine growth story. I will be sharing with you guys a backgrounder about the Philippines' consumer sector. Let me throw in our official outlook, First Metro Securities' official outlook, our consumer picks, and of course, how you can buy all of them in one amazing mutual fund through FundsMart. So as you know, the Philippines is largely a consumer-centric economy. In fact, 70% of the country's GDP is essentially household expenditure. And in the Philippine setting, when you talk about household expenditure, it's fueled mainly by jobs and remittances. So when you talk about the source of income, yung source ng pera ng karamihan ng pamilyang Pilipino, kadalasan nakukuha natin yan sa mga trabaho, employment, at galing sa OFW remittances galing sa ibang bansa. Now, as far as the future of the job market is concerned, kasi baka meron tayong, baka iniisip natin, parang, we perfectly understand na yun madalas yung source ng income, pero because of the pandemic, ang daming Pilipinong nawala ng trabaho, no? So let's look at it from a numbers standpoint, from a research standpoint. As far as the future of the job market is concerned, we need not worry because more than 60% of the population is considered to be in the what we call the demographic sweet spot. Ano ba yung demographic sweet spot, no? Importante na alam natin yung present situation and what lies ahead. Ano yung future? Kaya nga pag-uusapan natin yung outlook, no? Demographic sweet spot daw, 60%. 6 out of 10 Filipinos are at the peak or nearing the peak of their productive lives. Ito yung mga nagtatrabaho, in basketball terms, conditioned, no? Well-oiled machines na mas matagal pang magiging miyembro ng Philippine labor force. And then when it comes to remittances, again, talk about demographic sweet spot. When it comes to remittances, sabi ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and the National Economic Development Authority or NEDA, at least 12% of Philippine households rely on transfers from overseas Filipinos. So medyo malaking porsyento yun. But the good thing about that is OFW remittances, despite the pandemic, OFW remittances remain to be resilient and continues to be supported by large and stable overseas Filipino population. So, from an income standpoint, we need not worry about the job market. We need not worry about remittances. No? So, what I'm trying to say here is the Philippine economy being largely consumer driven by consumer spending, and the drivers of consumption are actually intact. No, purchasing power is stable. We're seeing household savings from yung mga natitipid natin from transportation, from allowance, baon ng mga anak, school bus, pamasahe, parking, fuel. The labor market is recovering. So hindi lang natin pinag-uusapan yung demographic sweet spot, but as we speak, we see more and more people who lost their jobs either getting rehired or nakakakuha sila ng ibang employment opportunities with better with what you call this with better pay. And lastly, sabi nga natin kanina, remittances are very strong. Remittances remain to be resilient. But obviously, these things, these development, no, these won't translate to pre-pandemic. These won't translate to full economic recovery if mobility is still restricted. Di ba parang sobrang saya imaginein, sobrang saya pakinggan na ito yung mga nangyayari. But at the end of the day, if we're going to be very honest about it, hindi natin aasahan yung full economic recovery kung limitado yung galaw natin. Oy, bawal because you're on MECQ. Bawal because we're under alert level 4, di ba? So yun yung mga nakasanayan na natin na mga restrictions. So all I'm really saying here is, yes, Philippine consumption will remain to be strong. And it's expected to make a very, very strong rebound, especially coming from 2020. But if you'll observe, lalo na ito, kung titingnan nyo itong hina-highlight ko dito sa screen, no? If you'll observe, from that slump in 2020, because of lockdown measures, daming bawal, ang daming pinasara, hindi pwedeng lahat ng miyembro ng pamilya lumabas, meron lang mga APOR, di ba? Ang daming mga quarantine restrictions. Because of lockdown measures and general market fear, takot tayo eh, di ba? Parang people, even on social media, they were encouraging people, stay at home as much as possible. Because of general market fear and lockdown measures, people turned to panic buying. Di ba? I mean, if you're going to look back, if you're going to rewind what you guys are thinking about March 2020, April 2020, May 2020, it's all about panic buying. I need to buy this, I need to buy that, we need to stock more of this, we need to stock more of that. They wanted to stockpile essential food items because, again, Filipinos try to stay at home as much as possible. And again, it's human nature. Natural na mangyayari yun and expected na natin yun. But then again, limited mobility also brought activities indoors. You and me, kung hindi man tayo directly, we have people from our network, people from our circle of friends, no, adopting the work from home setup. Yung mga chikiting, yung mga bata, yung mga pinsan natin, yung mga anak natin, they had to do homeschooling, e-learning setup. Activities, yung mga essentials, even yung mga recreational activities, everything had to be indoors. So what I'm trying to say here is this trend, this pandemic, this introduced new consumer trends such as what we call hometainment. Okay, ang daming naimbentong salita eh. Hindi lang ube, cheese, pandesal yung naimbento, hindi lang dalgona coffee ang inimbento ng mga Koreans na influence sa mga Pilipino, no? Ang dami. One of them happens to be what we call hometainment. The rise, no, in popularity, all the more of Netflix, Spotify, entertainment on demand, which paved the way to Filipinos embracing third-party aggregators like Grab, Lalamove, Mr. Speedy, and online shopping apps, of course, like Lazada and then Shopee. This eventually also paved the way to Filipinos, whether they like it or not, whether they're comfortable or not, embracing e-wallets like GCash, like Paymaya. And this essentially forced even the biggest banks, no, to enhance their mobile banking apps, and some of them even waived interbank transfer fees. No? But then again, that's a quick look back, no, at what things what happened because of the pandemic. But then again, if you were going to look at it, parang karamihan naman dito are welcome development. No? These are things na masaya tayong nangyari because it brought us, it brought fintech, it brought banking, it brought e-commerce to the next level. So again, if we're going to look back, every time, no, kung titingnan natin tong graph na to, if we're going to look back, every time the government eases restrictions, say MECQ to GCQ to MECQ, GCQ to ECQ. Ako personally, nalilito na ako what's the difference between all those acronyms, diba? Alert level 4 to alert level 3. Shorter curfew hours, more establishments being allowed to operate. If we're going to look at it, every time the government does that, spending on essentials was quick to normalize. Hindi na tayo masyadong nagpa-panic buying, hindi na tayo masyadong nagsa-stockpile ng pansit canton, hindi na tayo masyadong nagsa-stockpile ng mga delata, because somehow napupunta sa reopened sectors yung spending ng mga Pilipino. We're seeing some shift, no, in spending towards reopened sectors such as malls, for example, restaurants, personal services, despite them operating on limited capacities. No? We also saw what we also observed. We also saw a recovery of alcoholic beverages. No? They're measured in terms of beer volume sales, alcohol volume sales. For example, we also observed increased mall foot traffic. So mas maraming tao yung pumapasok sa mall, whether they're buying essentials there or gusto lang nilang, for mental health, na nasanay sila, it's relaxing. Mall foot traffic generally increased, no? Better restaurant same-store sales growth. And of course, basically, Filipinos is increased discretionary spending. So, hindi tayo masyadong nandun sa consumer, no? Nagno-normalize, sabi nga natin. And with the situation, of course, because of reports, because of developments, with the situation getting better and better, as we learn more and more about the virus, as more and more Filipinos get vaccinated. So again, this is us, no, trying to remind you guys, if hindi pa kayo vaccinated, please do get vaccinated. And it just gives the government and business owners the confidence and the confidence to more and more open the economy and their businesses altogether, for us to slowly return to normalcy. Philippine households, sabi nga natin, continue to save and pay off debt at the same time. So it's one thing that Filipinos are saving money. Nakakatipid tayo dahil medyo wala tayong mga bakasyon muna, wala tayong mga pinagkakagastusan na ibang bagay. Data from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas show that aggregate personal savings reached 6.2 trillion pesos in May 2021. So just a few months ago. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig sabihin nito, 20% higher daw ang naitatabi. 20% higher daw ang nasisave ng isang regular na Pilipino, ng isang regular na pamilya compared to the pre-pandemic times, compared to 2019. Again, this is good news. Ibig sabihin may pera, may perang naitatabi at again, because of the data, nakita natin na may naitatabing pera ang mga Pilipino pero nakakapagbayad din sila ng utang, no? So this can be attributed to spending cuts brought about by COVID-19, but this is not a sign of risk aversion. Hindi ibig sabihin nito takot tayong gumastos, takot tayong gamitin ng pera. But perhaps because of a result of stay-at-home trends, no? So there's less urgency to spend on, for example, auxiliary expenses relating to outdoor activities, and of course, fewer spending options. Kasi kahit naman gusto mong lumabas, kahit gusto mong mamili, sarado naman yung mga establishments, no? So what I'm trying to say here is quarantine measures also curtailed spending on, for example, leisure, recreation. Ako, for example, parang it's been almost 2 years since I last played basketball. Hotels, catering, events, travel, and tourism. So just to prove my point, since again, being super passionate about financial literacy, no? Just to prove my point, excess savings of Filipinos can be highlighted by just the financial markets. Just looking at the financial markets. Syempre, wag na tayo lumayo. Let's look at First Metro Sec. We at First Metro Sec logged record high number of investment accounts being opened. We at First Metro Sec recorded the record high number of investment education events, this one included. We even recorded record high trading volume from retail investors, which can be interpreted as Filipinos gradually, slowly, one step at a time, being financially literate, transitioning from spenders to savers, and then savers to becoming investors. Now, we know for sure, let's talk about what we know, talk about what we don't know. We know for sure that online shopping, pag-usapan na natin to kanina, online shopping, e-commerce, mobile banking, basically changed the way we transacted. Diba dati, for you to be able to pay your friend something, sige, pag nagkita na lang tayo, sige, pag nagkita tayo, sige, de-deposit ko sa'yo, pero bukas na kasi sarado yung bangko. Ngayon, it's a GCash transaction away, it's a PayMaya transaction away, it's a bank transfer transaction away. So we know those things basically changed the way we transact with each other, changed the way we bought things online, lalo na. But what we don't know is, will online shopping consumption stay? Diba? Yun hindi natin alam. Let's find out. It's up for us to find out. We know for sure that the government is really looking to loosen restrictions more and more. Diba? The government the government faced a lot of criticism. The government was criticized that during the height of the Delta variant, parang they even chose to lower the quarantine restriction of NCR. But again, because they're trying to they're trying to balance, the economy and the health of the people. So parang it's a very difficult task. But then again, we know for sure, as much as possible, gusto ng gobyerno mag-loosen yung restrictions for people to be able to spend more, for businesses to be able to reopen, for businesses to be able to rehire people that they let go of during the height of the pandemic. But we do not know if consumers will regain the confidence to go back to brick and mortar or physical stores to shop. Diba? Hindi natin alam kung tayo mismo, magkakaroon pa ba tayo ng confidence to go out and physically pick out your grocery, one by one item, putting it physically into your shopping cart. Lalo na ngayon na nakita mo na yung conveniences of online shopping. So again, those are just some of the things that we know, and those are also some of the things that we don't know. We know for sure that household spending had to focus more on essentials. Pag-usapan natin yun kanina. Essentials, and this resulted to savings and eventually debt payment. But we do not know if this is still going to be the case moving forward, especially as travel, tourism, ano pa ba, yung in-expect natin na bumalik, leisure, spending on leisure, discretionary spending, they're expected to go back anytime soon. Kasi kasama sa package yan, no? When you reopen the economy. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is there are still a lot of things that we are unsure of. Ang dami, and it's a good thing that we must admit na may mga bagay talaga na hindi pa tayo sigurado. There are still a lot of things that that are uncertain, but sa totoo lang, that's the name of the game. Ang importante lang dyan is we are aware of the risks. We are wary about the risks from things that we have very little knowledge about. Hindi natin sigurado, hindi tayo masyadong experts, hindi tayo masyadong familiar with. And on the flip side, we just have to make the most out of those that we are a bit more familiar with, di ba? So, iwas ka doon sa mga bagay na hindi ka masyadong expert, hindi ka masyadong magaling, hindi ka masyadong familiar. If you're going to make a decision, doon ka pupunta, no, sa mga bagay na medyo mas may alam ka. And ganun din, syempre, when it comes to investments. So, in order for us to, First Metro Asset Management, FAMI, and First Metro Sec together, in order for us to guide our clients so they can make more informed investment decisions. Importante ito for you, no? Importante ito for investors that you're guided when it comes to decisions, when it comes to your hard-earned money. We came up with a few parameters on choosing which stocks to buy for us to be able to benefit from the recovery of the Philippine economy. In particular, the consumer sector, which, sabi nga natin kanina, makes up at least 70% of the Philippines' gross domestic product. Number one, malls and companies with mall-based outlets. Bakit? As soon as consumer confidence returns, sabi nga natin, mall foot traffic will improve. When mall foot traffic improves, so will sales of outlets and businesses, establishments, selling essentials and even food. So in particular, because of this parameter, three names stand out. You have SM Retail, you have Robinsons Retail or RHI, and of course, you have Jollibee Foods Corporation, JFC. Number two, of course, restaurants. Iba yung malls and mall-based outlets, ibang usapan din yung restaurants. Dining in, whether you admit it or not, or whether you're aware or not, well, at least for me, dining in is an experience. No? Yung actual dining in for me it's an experience. And even though restaurants, as we speak, are still implementing a cap on customers allowed to enter their premises. Minsan, depending on the quarantine classification, 10% to 30% to max of 50%, consumers still dine in. Kasi sabi nga natin, iba yung experience eh. Anecdotally, case in point, you just can't enjoy. I can't enjoy Mang Inasal delivered. Madali. I can order online. But I just can't enjoy Mang Inasal delivered. Why? Only rice? That only rice plus chicken oil combo on site, again, is just an experience. The lifting of liquor ban, for example, shorter curfew hours, pinapayagan ng mag-operate yung restaurants, those are seen to benefit the sales of alcoholic beverages. So that being said, pasok ulit dito JFC, Jollibee Foods Corporation, which basically also owns Mang Inasal. San Miguel Food and Beverage, FB. And of course, let's throw in Emperador. Kasi syempre may mga tao na kahit hindi naman sila alcoholic, parang iba rin yung merong opportunity for them to drink 2 bottles after office. 2 bottles before the weekend. 2 bottles during the weekend. Walang liquor ban, diba? Number 3, we see the return to office and the return to face-to-face classes. The return of face-to-face classes as a key contributor to a number of stocks. Though this is most likely going to be a hybrid setup. Once every 2 weeks, office ka. The next couple of weeks, work from home. Yung iba blended pagdating sa schools. Depende sa course, depende sa discipline, and depende rin sa comfort level ng mga parents. But the return to office and the face-to-face classes will bring back consumption for baon. Whether baon for school or baon for the office. Morning drive-thru coffee. Kung hindi ka nagtitimpla ng kape mo sa bahay, you get it from someplace else, you drive through for it. Office lunch breaks, and the return of parents buying pasalubong for their kids. With this in mind, ang naisip namin magbe-benefit dito would be top 4 names. Universal Robina Corporation, URC. Robinsons Retail pa rin because of their grocery chain. SM Retail because of their grocery chain, hypermarket, Save More. And syempre, andito pa rin si Jollibee, GFC. Of course, Greenwich, Mang Inasal, Chowking, Red Ribbon, diba? Throw in Dunkin' Donuts there. So that's it, no? And then we have number 4. Hindi pa tayo tapos. We still have a couple of parameters more. Number 4, I guess you'll agree with me on this, no? Health and wellness will be here to stay. Pandemic or no pandemic, people realized the importance of sanitation. People realized the importance of cleanliness. And because of lack of physical activities, health-conscious households started looking into healthier food alternatives. Sabi ko hindi nakakapag-basketball, hindi na masyadong nakakalabas, wala na masyadong physical activities, wala na masyadong exercise. So babawi na lang tayo sa diet, bawi tayo sa food. And demand for this space, the healthier food alternatives, no, will continue to be elevated even in the next normal. So sino-sino tong mga to? We like Monde Nissen. We like CNPF, Century Pacific Food, canned tuna, di ba? And of course, San Miguel Food and Beverage, hot dogs, cold cuts, di ba? So that's for health and wellness, number 4. And lastly, number 5, sa mga nag-a-adulting dito, the work from home and homeschooling setup made a lot of Filipino families realize the importance of having extra space. Diba? Extra balcony space, an extra room, having an extra space for a coffee corner, for example. But ultimately, most households spent during the pandemic to create a work from home corner, or perhaps they spent to convert a storage room into a virtual classroom or into a virtual office. Some families, sad to say, realized this the hard way, especially if a relative had to be isolated. So kailangan may sariling room yan, whether symptomatic, asymptomatic, importante pa rin yung isolation, diba? But just the same, we still expect construction and renovation to flourish, especially with the proliferation of online communities providing guidance to its members. No? So the rise of virtual kapitbahays, home buddies, the rise of plantitos and plantitas will surely benefit Wilcon. Whether you're the DIY kind of guy or you're the type of guy who like to outsource it to a contractor, at the end of the day, at one point or another during that construction process, pupunta ka rin, or whether ikaw or your contractor will definitely go to Wilcon. So these may be a handful. Itong mga pinag-usapan nating pangalan, they may be a handful, but these stocks these are stocks that we see benefiting from further reopening of the economy. The shift in terms of consumer spending and Filipinos embracing the next normal. Ito yung mga pangalan na sa palagay ng First Metro Sec, most likely will get a larger piece of the pie, a larger share of the Filipino consumer's wallet. And the good thing about that is, ito na tayo, diba? Here's the fun part. And the good thing about that is all of these stocks, no, the Jollibees, the Mondes, the URCs, FB, CNPF, Wilcon, you have P Gold, Pure Gold, you have Robinson's Retail, Emperador. You can buy all of them in one very amazing mutual fund. I'm talking about FAMI's First Metro Consumer Fund, or Fmcf, a mutual fund you can buy through First Metro Securities FundsMart. So you get to enjoy waived sales loads, waived commissions, waived transaction fees for what? As little as 5,000 pesos minimum investment amount. Fmcf is not just your hassle-free, budget-friendly hack. Right? You and me, millennials, we know shortcuts as hacks to investing in the Philippine growth story. Hindi lang yun. It's also a way for our partners from FAMI to transform us, Filipinos, from savers to investors. And again, I have my good friend Nikki Monzon to tell us more about this. So that being said, that's pretty much my my presentation. So let me turn you back over to our host, Sir GP Billones. GP, take it away.
All right. Thank you for that informative and concise presentation, Sir Andoy. Now, we know First Metro Sec research team's outlook on the Philippines consumer sector and their stock picks. We also know how to buy FAMI mutual funds from First Metro Securities FundsMart. Again, if you have questions regarding the presentation, feel free to ask them in the questions tab of the GoToWebinar panel. The speakers will answer them during the live Q&A portion after both presentations. So now we move on to the next part of the webinar. Let me just give presentation rights to Ma'am Nikki. All right. Now, our next speaker is currently the head of the bank and non-bank at First Metro Asset Management Incorporated since December 2019. She was formerly with BDO Treasury as a fixed income sales trader, and prior to that, the Trust Marketing Officer of Maybank Philippines Incorporated. She also had a stint with BPI Investment Management Inc. and Citibank Saving Inc. as a mutual fund distribution officer and personal banking officer, respectively. She completed her college degree from Ateneo de Manila University and has more than 11 years of experience in asset management, financial advisory, trust marketing, and retail branch banking. Let's all welcome Ms. Nikki Monzon. All right, how are you, Ms. Nikki? Would you like to first greet our attendees tonight? Ms. Nikki, can you check your audio po?
My apologies, but thank you once again for the introduction, JP, and for allowing FAMI to have this joint webinar. And for those who are watching, good evening as well. I hope you and your families are safe amid the pandemic.
All right, welcome, Ms. Nikki. So before we start with your presentation, let me just ask a few questions. First is, are mutual funds ideal for newbie investors?
Well, of course, JP, yes, mutual funds are ideal for new investors. In fact, these funds cater to all investors with different risk appetite. So from conservative to aggressive, and with investment horizon from short-term to long-term.
That's nice to hear, Ms. Nikki. Now, next is, how can FAMI help Filipinos transform from being savers to investors?
Okay, so well, FAMI can help Filipinos from being savers to investors by providing value and added knowledge through our materials, videos, and of course, webinars like this to enable us to fully understand what mutual funds are and how these can be beneficial to our financial needs.
Thank you for that, Ms. Nikki. Now, our attendees are probably excited to know more already. If you have questions regarding the presentation, we encourage you to put them in the questions tab of the GoToWebinar panel. Again, the speakers will answer them later during the live Q&A portion after both presentations. Without further ado, let's give the floor to Ms. Nikki Monzon.
Okay, thank you and good evening once again. So tonight, as mentioned by JB, I will be discussing what First Metro Consumer Fund is and how it is different from the other mutual funds in the market today, how the said fund should fit into the overall portfolio of our of Filipino investors, and how we as investors can contribute to the economic recovery of the Philippines through First Metro Consumer Fund. So first, let's start off. What is First Metro Consumer Fund? So this is an actively managed equity fund of First Metro Asset Management Inc. or FAMI, where it seeks to generate long-term returns from listed Philippine companies or consumer equities by mirroring the performance of these companies. The fund also aims to outperform PSEI or the Philippine Stock Exchange Index by leveraging on the stock performance of companies dependent on consumer spending behavior. First Metro Consumer Fund is also ideal for investors who are able to tolerate high risks, seeking equity investments with high growth and diversification. So some of the salient features or advantages of investing in First Metro Consumer Fund is, first, the thematic approach. So First Metro Consumer Fund is the first consumer fund in the industry. So it focuses on consumption-related spending companies, which mainly differentiate First Metro Consumer Fund from other mutual funds. Also, it has easy access to companies likely to benefit from our country's domestic consumption, especially once our economy further reopens, that comprise majority of our GDP, as mentioned by Andoy earlier. So First Metro Consumer Fund can be opportunistic and may potentially outperform the PSEI. So in this case, as of October 20, First Metro Consumer Fund was able to generate a positive year-to-date return of 5.69%, whereas PSEI is still at around 2% as of the same date. Also, my apology. Also, First Metro Consumer Fund provides diversification, as mentioned earlier. It helps reduce risk versus investing directly in stocks by allowing our fund managers to decide which underlying companies to invest in and provide optimal returns based on its the fund objectives. And lastly, affordability, since for as low as 5,000 pesos initial and 1,000 pesos additional, you may already take advantage of First Metro Consumer Fund's potentially higher returns, which also lowers your cost of investing. So now, shown on your screens are the fund details of First Metro Consumer Fund, where it was launched on January 12, 2018. Do note that the fund has a minimum holding period of 6 months, although this should not be a concern, given that whenever we invest in aggressive funds such as First Metro Consumer Fund, we must have that mindset to invest for long term of around 5 years or even longer. So as you can see, the management fee is 1.75% per annum, which is already incorporated in its price or net asset value per share. So whatever the NAV/PS of the fund is, that's already net of fees and taxes. Also, clients who intend to invest in First Metro Consumer Fund through First Metro Securities platform would have a waived sales load or entry fee that can further maximize your investment amount. So now, allow me to share with you the top 5 holdings and portfolio mix of First Metro Consumer Fund as of October 15, 2021. And if you notice, all these top 5 companies were previously mentioned by Andoy that we believe could further contribute the uptrend of our economy, specifically for PSEI. No? So Jollibee, Monde, Nissin, URC, San Miguel Food and Beverage, and Wilcon. Also, the fund intends to maintain its overweight positions in consumer staple names from industrial and services sector that we believe would be more resilient in the quarantine, amid the quarantine restrictions. Okay, now, so since I have shared what First Metro Consumer Fund is and how it is different from other mutual funds, allow me to share with you how this fund should fit into your portfolio. So first, First Metro Consumer Fund would fit into your overall portfolio given the diversification, as previously mentioned, and sets to benefit from the Philippines' growing consumer market, especially in the long run. Furthermore, the fund would add value to your investment portfolio since First Metro Consumer Fund allows you to save time by investing in a basket of securities instead of investing directly in different stocks, which for some find tedious or time-consuming. The fund is also being managed by our professional fund managers who can determine the best companies to invest in and actively manage the fund on your behalf based on the consumer-driven growth potential of the Philippines. So if you also believe in the strength of the recovery of our economy, where we think PSEI can potentially increase in 2022 due to the further reopening of the economy on higher vaccination rate, post-election optimism, and corporate earnings, which we believe would go back to pre-pandemic level by fourth quarter of 2022. And lastly, if you have that long-term investment horizon amid the volatilities to maximize potential returns, then First Metro Consumer Fund is the right fund for you. So now, how can we as investors contribute to the economic recovery of the country? No? So provided that private consumption is a majority or major driver of the Philippine economy, which comprises around 3/4 or 70% of our GDP, investing in First Metro Consumer Fund can contribute to our economy's recovery by supporting consumer staples that ultimately improves the Philippines' GDP growth that will be, we believe, would be more resilient amid quarantine restrictions. No? In line also with our expectations on higher growth spending, in line with our upcoming 2022 elections and vaccine rollout gaining momentum that may lead to further reopening of the economy. So in this regard, we should see this as an opportunity to invest in a First Metro Consumer Fund while the NAV/PS or price are still relatively cheaper, and ride out volatility to enjoy the fund's potentially higher returns, especially once our economy further recovers. So that's it for me, JP. Thank you.
Thank you for that very comprehensive presentation, Ms. Nikki. Now, we already know about the salient points of First Metro Consumer Fund, how it is different from other mutual funds in the market today. We also learned how First Metro Consumer Fund fits into the overall portfolio of the Filipino investor. Lastly, we learned how investing in First Metro Consumer Fund can help contribute to the economic recovery of the Philippines. There are many who are interested to know more as there are questions submitted by the audience. All right, so let's roll through those questions. All right, first question will be for Sir Andoy Beltran. Sir Andoy, what are the advantages when investing in mutual funds through FundSmart?
Yeah, thanks, JP. No, again, I subtly mentioned this during the presentation. Nikki was also able to talk about this, about FundSmart. As it is, muna natin pag-usapan si FundSmart. No? As it is, the investing public should be made aware that investing in mutual funds will actually give them tax exemption pagdating sa capital gains tax. No? So parang hindi tax free, hindi nila kailangan magbayad ng capital gains tax. No? So for mutual fund investors. So as it is, it already is an attractive investment vehicle. Okay yun. Kasi sabi nga ni Nikki, no, if walang masyadong binabawas sa pera mo, you get to make the most out of your money. But because of FundSmart, aside from no longer having to pay capital gains tax, mutual fund investors, especially those who eventually opt to buy First Metro Consumer Fund, for example, they'll no longer be charged with sales loads. They'll no longer be charged with, for example, transaction fees. If the mutual fund charges transaction fees, they'll no longer be charged with commissions. So very, very important yun kasi habang dumadami yung mga bagay na binabawas sa investments mo, mas kumukonti yung potential ng pera mo to make more money. We designed FundSmart that way because we are pro-investors. So again, just like FAMI, FAMI, sabi nga nung battle cry nila, they're transforming Filipinos from savers to investors. Tayo ganun din. We're just that's why we're partners. Because we would like investors to make the most out of their money. So kung yung mga bagay na pwedeng hindi natin tanggalin, mga bagay na pwedeng hindi natin i-charge sa kanila, hindi na. So just to be very, very clear, just to be perfect, just to be be very clear about it, hindi naman natin tinatanggal yung fund management fee. Hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin yun kasi sabi nga ni Nikki, we have professionals making investment decisions for us. Syempre, kailangan nating i-compensate sila for the research, for the job that they're doing, for our money. In-outsource natin yun sa kanila eh. We no longer have to think. Ano bang magandang stocks ang bilhin? Ano bang magandang investments ang pasukan ko? No? So, yung oras na na-save mo by researching those stuff, yung risks na na-save mo by not being able to make mistakes because of hearsay, because of hype, yun na yung ibinabayad natin sa kanila by way of fund management fees naman. So, ayun. That's essentially the most important benefit I can think of when it comes to people investing in FundSmart. Not to mention that they get to build a very what you call this, a multi-asset, multi-currency portfolio. So kung meron ka ng existing stocks, meron ka ng existing exchange-traded fund, which of course is also being managed by Fmcf, meron ka ng existing real estate investment trust. So you get to further diversify it by adding mutual funds into the mix. Hindi mo na kailangang lumabas ng First Metro Sec platform. It's already there. You just need to look at, just need to click that FundSmart tab.
All right. Thank you for that answer, Sir Andoy. Hopefully that made things clear on the advantages of investing in mutual funds through First Metro Securities FundsMart. Again, that's our one-stop shop for mutual fund investing. The next question will be for Ms. Nikki. So as a mutual fund investor, can I choose the stocks or bonds that I want exposure to?
Since mutual funds are pooled investments from different clients, our professional fund managers decide which companies to invest in that are also based on extensive knowledge and research of the market conditions and on the financial performances of the individual companies or specific securities. So allow us to have that decision to better provide potentially higher returns.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Nikki. Next, I guess this question is coming from an existing client now. This is again for Sir Andoy Beltran. So he is asking, why do I have a different buying power for stocks and mutual funds?
Yeah, most likely yung nagre-reflect kasi sa stock market portfolio mo. The reason why it's showing a different figure is because when it comes to mutual fund investing, dapat cleared funds ang hawak mo. Yun yung nagre-reflect doon. So cleared funds, ibig sabihin kapag nagbenta ka for example today, or sabihin natin Wednesday. Nagbenta ka Wednesday ng stocks because gusto mong bumili ng Fmcf. Nakita mo yung social media post ng First Metro. Oy, okay to. Tapos umattend ka. Sakto, Wednesday nagbenta ka. By Friday, T+3. By Friday, pwede mo nang gamitin yung proceeds of your stock market, the stocks you've sold for you to be able to buy mutual funds. So the reason why iba ang nagre-reflect na figures is because when it comes to mutual funds, ang pwede mo lang gamitin would be cleared funds. But when it comes to stocks kasi, pag nagbenta ka right now, pwede mo na agad siyang gamitin pag naging part na siya ng buying power mo. No? So, kailangan lang niyang mag-clear. If, for example, gustong-gusto mo nang bumili tapos hindi pa nagki-clear yung proceeds no ng binenta mong stocks, hindi pa tapos yung 3-day clearing period, you also have the option naman to fund to inject fresh funds into your portfolio. Ayun, pag fresh funds naman ang pinag-uusapan natin, cleared funds din naman 'yon. So 'yun. 'Yun ang dahilan why your FundSmart buying power sometimes lang naman, not all the time, reflects a different number compared to a different figure, different amount versus your stock market portfolio's buying power.
Thank you for that, Sir Andoy. And yeah, we really get that questions no kasi paminsan na nagugulat sila bakit magkaiba talaga. Hopefully, thank you for clarifying that, Sir Andoy. Next question will be for Miss Nikki. So, if the companies where the mutual fund invest in give out dividends, do I get dividends as well?
Thank you for that question, JP. So for FAMI's mutual funds in particular, our fund managers reinvests the dividends, if any, to further increase the assets under management or AUM that helps maximize potential returns.
All right. Thank you for that, Ms. Nikki. Next question would be for Sir Endoy. The client po has existing FAMI funds. Will they see it or their holdings in the FundSmart platform?
Yeah. Existing family fund, existing family account holders, no. So again, thank you for patronizing the First Metro Group. Pero unfortunately po, no, hindi po pwedeng i-transfer. Hindi po pwedeng i-transfer yung existing family holdings to your First Metro Sec. Halimbawa, newly opened First Metro Sec account, hindi po pwede yun. Usually po, ang ginagawa ng iba is nag-add na lang sila. So parang hinihiwalay na lang nila, no. So sige, para hindi ako nalilito sa mutual fund the holdings ko at sa stocks ko. Physically hiwalay siya. I'm going to retain my First Metro Asset Management account for my mutual fund portfolio, and then I'm also going to retain my First Metro Sec account for my direct stock market portfolio. But again, to highlight that answer, hindi po pwede. Wala pong facility, hindi po just because we're sister companies, iniisip kasi nila madalas okay lang may facility to transfer, pero wala po. Ang pwede is kung meron kang existing stock brokerage account with for example a competitor with another stock brokerage firm, and then nag-open ka ng First Metro Sec account, pwede yung transfer ng existing stock mo. So it's really all about it's really all a matter of accomplishing a broker transfer form, and then getting in touch with our customer service team, and then we'll be able to facilitate, we'll be able to assist you in facilitating the transfer from your existing stock brokerage firm, stock brokerage account to your newly opened First Metro Sec account.
All right. Thank you for answering that, Sir Andoy. Now here's, I think this question is for Ms. Nikki. And I think he's one of those na magsisimula pa lang mag-invest na after hearing our webinar. So the attendee is asking, is Fmcf advisable for beginners? If yes, what strategy can you recommend to first-time investors?
Okay, so as I've mentioned a while ago, Fmcf is advisable for all types of investors, new investors or sophisticated investors, as long as their investment objective is for wealth creation that can tolerate high risk, especially First Metro Consumer Fund is considered an equity-laced fund. No? So if they want to seek equity investments with high growth and diversification over the long term, and for around 5 years, then this fund is for you. And for my recommendation, I believe the best strategy especially for first-time investors is to cost average by having the discipline to regularly invest in First Metro Consumer Fund to take advantage of the price, regardless of the market condition, and ride the potential upside, especially once our economy recovers. So I hope I was able to answer that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good nugget of wisdom, not to, especially for new investors. Now, in connection with that question, this is for Sir Andoy. In First Metro Securities, do you have a facility that automates peso cost averaging?
Yes. Sabi ko nga, yung kanina, no, you talk about shortcuts, talk about being efficient, talk about simplifying things, ang tawag nating mga millennials dyan, hack. First Metro Sec, First Metro Asset Management, FMCF alone is an investment hack. No? Sabi nga natin, it allows you to invest in the top consumer names in the Philippines just by buying one fund. To answer that question, yes, meron din pong investment hack ang First Metro Sec for people. Sabi ni Nikki, maganda na regular investing, tawag natin cost averaging. If you'd like to subscribe to that facility, cost averaging every sweldo, every quincenas, every katapusan, mag-i-invest ka ng 1,500 or 5,000 pesos for you to be able to buy Fmcf. Meron po tayong voluntary investment program, VIP. So sa pangalan pa lang, parang sobrang special ka na, voluntary investment program. It automates your investing. You just need to tell the system how much are you willing to invest. Ano yung araw na gusto mong mag-invest ka, pwede mong i-timing sa sweldo pag na-credit na sa account mo. Ang available na options dito would be First Metro Consumer Fund, First Metro Exchange Traded Fund, and any other every peso denominated mutual fund in FundsMart for that matter. But then again, sabi ko nga, as it is, kahit hindi niyo na kailangan lumayo, Fmcf is alone, Fmcf by itself alone is an investment hack. So invest in Jollibee, San Miguel Food and Beverage, Robinson's Retail, Emperador, in one go just by buying Fmcf. So yun, let me just rephrase my statement kanina. Pwedeng ang mangyari is meron kang initial investment of 5,000 pesos for you to invest in Fmcf, and then pwedeng yung succeeding na investments mo would be 1,000 pesos na lang, para yun yung maging regular investments mo through the voluntary investment program. So yeah.
All right. That's very convenient, especially for those who are going to apply peso cost averaging. And yeah, I think for beginners, that's a really good start on how you can be transformed from savers into investors. Now, here's another question po. I think this is for Miss Nikki. And it's a little bit intermediate level yung tanong, no? So, how is it being managed, the Fmcf, and how are the companies chosen?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. So, in terms of choosing the companies for First Metro Consumer Fund, our main criteria is for the companies to have at least 80% of their revenues that directly provide service or sell goods to the consumers, which we also take into consideration their free float and the market cap and how we put the weights for each underlying security of the fund. So I hope I was able to answer that question.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ms. Nikki. So there are more questions here, so we can answer some more. I think we still have time.
Yes.
Ito naman, I think this is for those who attended na wants to trade stock. So this would be for Sir Andoy Beltran. So do you have demo account where an investor can practice trading first before opening a real account?
Yeah, meron tayong First Metro Sec, no? Meron tayong, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 5 day na trial account. But yes, meron. But the thing is, yung steps, no? The steps na i-require for you to open that trial account will practically be the same if you're going to try to open a legit account. The difference lang is you just need to provide us with a legit tax identification number. You just need to submit a few documentary requirements. No? So, ayun. But then again, okay lang yun. Again, it's a good thing about the good thing about that is the trial account is going to acquaint you with the First Metro Securities platform. Ano yung mga features, ano yung mga benefits, ano yung mga bells and whistles niya. But ultimately, it's really designed that way. If you're just looking out, tinitingnan mo kung sino baka may magandang backup broker. Sanay ka na masyado sa existing broker mo, naghahanap ka ng backup broker. It's just designed that way. And hopefully you get to consider us, no. So yun, tama po. Meron po tayong trial account. punta lang po kayo sa www.firstmetrosec.com.ph and meron po doon, hanapin nyo lang yung trial account opening platform.
All right, thank you for clarifying that, Sir Andoy. Next question, this is for Ms. Nikki. An attendee is asking, what will happen if I fail to pay the manager's fee po? Or does it automatically deduct in the investment? I think the attendee is referring to the management fee.
Yeah, so as previously mentioned a while ago, the management fees of First Metro Consumer Fund, as well as all mutual funds, it is already incorporated in the net asset value per share, or NAV-PS. So whatever you will buy, regardless of the number of shares, it is already net of taxes and fees. So I hope I got to answer your question.
All right. Again, there's a follow-up question for our voluntary investment program facility. Yeah, so the question is, can we customize the VIP facility so we can pick a day other than 15 or 30 of the month?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think same from the same attendee, do we get a reminder from FMS to what? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
no.
Go ahead,
Tama
sir.
'yon. Hindi kasi lahat ng employees, hindi lahat ng business men nagpapasweldo ng 15th and 30th, no. Some of them credit their payroll on the 10th and the 25th. So depende. So yun yung beauty noon, no. You put it perfectly. You can customize. You can tell the system at this day, debit 1,000 pesos from my Metro Bank or BPI. So yun, isang nugget of information din, no. Ang auto debit arrangement facility ng voluntary investment program is currently open to Metro Bank and BPI account holders pa lamang. So doon, every 10th of the month, debit 1,000 pesos from my BPI account. Every 25th, debit another 1,000 pesos from the same account. And then pwede, may isa ka pang account na nakakonect naman sa Metro Bank, 1,500 every payday. So yun, you can customize. To answer that question, you can customize the schedule. You tell us kung magkano ang amount. Ang minimum lang, if I'm not mistaken, is 1,500 a month. So if you're doing 1,000 every payday, so pasok yun, because that's going to total to 2,000 pesos for that particular month. JP, I lost, I seem to, I forgot kung ano yung second part ng question. Ano ulit yun?
The question po is, do we get a reminder from FMS to fund our account before the day the VIP will be executed?
As far as I know, wala. As far as I know, walang reminder, no. But the good thing about that is very good idea. Let me pitch that to our IT and the backroom team. As far as I'm concerned, parang wala eh. Pero the good thing about that is, siguro let me just, baka kasi iniisip nyo, Andoy, anong penalty? Just in case makalimutan ko, because again, you're asking about a reminder, no? Anong magiging penalty kapag yung 25th of the month ko, hindi ako nakapag-fund, walang extrang pera, naubos ko, nabudol ako ng 11-11, for example. Hindi ka naman mape-penalize. Walang penalty, walang anything, walang subpoena, walang magrereklamo sa'yo. Ang mangyayari dyan is magre-reset na lang the next session on the 10th of the next month, back to square one. So ayun lang. Let me get back to you on that. Ako personally, I'm not sure if merong reminder kasi yung regular investing ko is care of our HR. Eh. So hindi ako through the platform. So walang reminder. Pero dun sa penalty, if in case ma-miss mo, walang penalty. What I do though is para meron akong reminder, naka-schedule lang siya sa calendar ko. So yun, siguro that should do for now. But thank you to whoever asked that question. It just gave us an idea. Let me check no kung meron, and kung wala, I'm going to make sure that it gets proposed to the people responsible for that. So yeah. Tama ba, JP? I'm not sure eh. Meron ba tayong reminder?
For now, sir, I don't think meron reminder. Kasi I think the VIP facility natin ngayon, the instruction is for the client to actually fund their account. No? So in your online banking facility, you can actually set yung recurring payment option or recurring transaction.
Yeah.
So you can just, for example, what you can do is, for example, yung sahod nyo is every 15th and 30th. So to make sure na merong laman yung account niyo, then you can set the recurring transaction one day after. So sabihin natin 16th and first day of the month.
Yeah.
So you can just tell your online banking facility to fund your First Metro Sec account debit on this day.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Kasi ako yun.
Then
If that's the case, I'm pretty sure merong email reminder yung online banking facility. So walang reminder si First Metro Sec, but because you arranged an auto debit facility between, for example, BPI and First Metro Sec and Metro Bank and First Metro Sec, BPI or Metro Bank will be the one responsible for remind you that 14th of the month na may VIP facility ka. Make sure na meron kang 1,000 pesos. So yeah, good point, James.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Sir Andoy. Here, we have another question. This is for Ms. Nikki. So, an attendee here wants to see the percentage composition of the top 10 stocks, I think, for the certain fund, for them to assess the relative performance. Can they see this po in, let's say, the fund fact sheet or, yeah?
Okay, so based on our fund fact sheets, the top 5 holdings are shown. No, so if you want to know more about the top 10 holdings, feel free to reach out to us and we will provide it to you as well.
Yeah, so there you go. So yeah,
I'll get
later
back.
towards the end of the presentation, I'll be showing the contact details naman po of FAMI. So
yes.
you can directly see that there. And also, if you're going to access it through FundsMart, you can see there actually the top holdings. So what I'm not sure if top 10 siya, but I think top 10 yun nandoon. And the fund fact sheet can also be seen in the FundSmart na profile page. So you can just click on that so you can download it. Yeah, so let's see if we have other questions. Ayan, I think this is for Ms. Nikki again. So they're very interested about Fmcf. So to clarify, since the management fee is per annum and upon subscription, the management fee is already net of the NAV pool value. How is the management fee deducted every year? I think we get this question a lot also.
Okay, so basically what our accounting does is they accrue it on a daily basis. No, so instead of deducting it on a yearly basis, they on a daily basis siya and incorporate on the net asset value per share. So I hope that clarifies your question. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for clarifying that, Ms. Nikki. So I think it's already 7:12, I guess, and we're already out of time for this webinar. We actually extended for a bit just to cater your questions. No, we apologize to the other questions that we were not able to answer because of the volume of the questions we have received, which shows really interest in our webinar tonight. So we thank you for that, for your active participation.
Let's take note of the unanswered questions, JP, and Nikki and myself will answer them offline. I think we can capture din naman who sent those questions, and then let's get in touch with them offline na lang.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So yeah, we will be compiling then sending this also after the webinar. Thank you for that, Sir Andoy and Ms. Nikki. Now, so before we end this webinar, allow me just to promote, or remind you of the different facilities through First Metro Securities. So again, if you have a First Metro Sec account, you only need that account for all your investment needs. Be it you'd like to trade stocks or invest in mutual funds, especially Fmcf, which we highlighted tonight. And also, there are also UITFs available. We also participate in bond offerings, usually from the Bureau of the Treasury. And of course, the ETF, the Exchange Traded Fund. For now, there's still one exchange traded fund in the country, and that's also managed by FAMI. But yeah, you can trade it through First Metro Sec, so that's FMETF. And of course, recent yung mga real estate investment trust, you can also trade them through either your desktop, laptops, or mobile phones. Very easy. But what we have featured tonight is actually your ability to invest in mutual funds through First Metro Sec's FundsMart. So again, just to give a recap, why you need to invest in a mutual fund. Because of one, we employ the expertise. We let the fund managers do what they do best. And with that, it's very convenient and hassle-free. We don't need to monitor. All we need to see is the performance over time. Then it also reduces the risk through automatic diversification. Because imagine for your 5,000 pesos, you're already invested in a multitude of stocks, and which is also professionally managed. And I think one of the good features of mutual funds is its liquidity, as you can buy or redeem anytime you like. So again, you can access all of that through FundSmart. And actually, Fmcf is just one of the many funds that FAMI manages. No? So they also have multi-asset na mga mutual funds such as Save and Learn Equity Fund, Save and Learn Balance Fund, Save and Learn Fixed Income Fund, and Save and Learn Money Market Fund. Also, they also have the Philippine Index Fund and the Dollar Bond Fund. So again, FAMI manages multi-asset and multi-currency. So they also have peso and dollar-denominated mutual funds. So again, all of these funds are brought to us by First Metro Asset Management. Then, of course, when you fund your account, as you are going to buy your mutual funds, you have lots of options, and it's your call whether you'd like to fund your account through the online banking facilities of Metro Bank, the BPI, or BDO, and even through PS Bank, Land Bank, Union Bank, or even convenient options such as GCash and 7-Eleven. So you have tons of options on how you can fund your account. And yeah, you can do that by opening your First Metro Sec account today. And I'm going to show you later the steps and also the QR code on how you can do so. And again, I just want to reiterate this investing hack through First Metro Securities. Ms. Nikki actually recommended for newbie investors the peso cost average technique. So where you invest a fixed amount over a fixed amount over a regular time interval. And you can do so through our voluntary investment program. So you just let us know how much you'd like to invest and how frequent you'd like to invest. And this makes peso cost averaging easy for you and makes investing disciplined. It instantly diversifies you and, of course, hassle-free. Then, yeah, for stock market guidance, we recommend that you join our First Metro Sec Market Updates Viber community. There are more than 3,000 members right now where we provide their market updates, First Metro Sec announcements, market education guidance, and even performance of funds through FundSmart. So feel free to take a screenshot of this or scan this QR code so you can join our Viber community. Then also feel free to join our Facebook community. There are now 30,000 community members out there that you can interact with. Maybe you can ask advice from the other investors out there. And of course, that's also your way to reach out to us also. So feel free to join our Facebook community. And of course, for your learning, if you'd like to learn more, of course, it doesn't stop here. We've actually uploaded many free investing and saving webinars through our First Metro Sec channel in YouTube. So we even upload there our stock market wrap-ups and some of our webinars that we conduct. Even the website navigation, you can see it there. Then for those who like to open an account, these are the 3 easy steps on how you can do so. So again, feel free to screenshot this page. and even scan the QR code if you can. So just visit bit.ly/FMS-new account and click open an account. Then all you need to do is just complete the registration form, which is all online, and upload the required documents. All right, so you can do this at the comforts of your home, or even when you're drinking coffee. It would take you siguro 10 to 15 minutes of your time only. And of course, for all of you who want to open an account and you have attended this seminar, feel free to use the code FMCF to let us know that you came from this session. All right. So also for your market education needs, if you want us to conduct free webinars, feel free to send us an email at marketeducation@firstmetrosec.com.ph. So whether you're in Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao, we can actually tailor fit our webinars to your needs. No? And of course, if you want, we can deliver it in pure English, pure Tagalog, or Taglish, and even Bisaya. No? So we can actually do that for you. And of course, you can download. We have a mobile app also. We call this First Metro Sec Go. So you can just simply download them from the App Store or your Google Play Store. All right, so just it's a very convenient because you can actually look at your portfolio on the go. And for more information, feel free to visit our help center at help.firstmetrosec.com.ph for any question or any inquiries you have under the sun about First Metro Securities. So all this convenience within your reach through Finance Asia's Philippines Best Broker for 2017, 2018, and 2020, International Finance's Best Online Trading Platform and Best Online Broker, and Global Economics Best Brokerage House and Most Innovative Online Trading Platform for 2021. Here in First Metro Securities, we have a hashtag, Your Future First. And of course, we've done this webinar through the collaboration with First Metro Asset Management Incorporated. Again, their goal is to transform Filipinos from savers to investors. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending our webinar tonight. If you want to contact FAMI with regards to information about the funds, especially FMCF, feel free to take a screenshot of these contact details from their email addresses to their social media platforms and even email, even their contact numbers in their head office, also in their Cebu and Davao offices. All right, so I'm going to give you time to actually take a screenshot of this. All right, so hopefully you took a screenshot already. So again, if you want to connect with First Metro Securities, these are our platforms. That's www.firstmetrosec.com.ph. And for the new platform, that's new.firstmetrosec.com.ph. And if you have a pro access, so that's pro.firstmetrosec.com.ph. So for our social media channels, just search for the handle @FirstMetroSec. And yeah, you also have the email addresses there. If you have concerns about your account, you have your customer service email there. Then if you need to follow up on your account opening, so we also have the account opening email. And again, if you want to invite us to conduct sessions for you, we have market education at firstmetrosec.com.ph. So again, I'm going to give you time to take a screenshot of this for your future reference. All right. With that, again, I'd like to thank you all for attending tonight's session. Hopefully you learned a lot. And for the questions that we were not able to answer, we will get back to you. So thank you, everyone, and have a pleasant night ahead. Enjoy your dinners.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, JP. Thank you, Nikki.
Stay safe. Thank you.